Have some cool sports memorabilia? Well, let's check in with Brandon Steiner, CEO of CollectibleXchange, to figure out what's it worth. Thanks to RomanoCars.com.
From Collectible Exchange, What's It Worth is the segment. 424-8599, the number to dial up here if you want to talk to Brandon on the phone or text in an item if you'd like. It is 605-8874. Preferably if you can take a picture of it and send it along. That way I can show Brandon. And Brandon, looks like you are on the road today somewhere.
Yes, don't ask me to spell it. I'm in Telluride. I got to tell you, not an easy place to get to. And I've had a headache since I got here because, the altitude. Yeah, I don't understand. Like, I tell my wife, I can't be going to these places because I get these headaches. But
wow,
I don't know. You ever tell your wife something and then she just ignores it and just does whatever she wants to do?
she booked you anyway.
It's a wedding.
Long time ago, I was in Aspen, Colorado for an event, and the same thing. I mean, the altitude. You kind of find yourself, walking a little slower upstairs or taking a moment to catch your breath. That's the thing, and I don't know what the altitude is there, but it's noticeable.
Memo to self and anybody out there, when you walk in your room and there's cans of oxygen, not water, you may want to be ready to have a little bit of a problem breathing. Anyway, I'm on listen, I slept at least maybe 2.5 hours last night, so I'm feeling good. Because the oxygen's you can't breathe. It's crazy. But I'll tell you, going back to the sports thing for a moment, today's a very big game. This is an important game for the Yankees to win. They haven't won a series against a good team. Most of the good teams, they've been struggling. This is a really important game for them to win. Cleveland's a good team. They're probably a good chance they will see Cleveland in the postseason. Very good chance. They've got to start winning these series, and they've got to start getting hot. And remember, the team that gets hot at the end is usually a team that wins. A lot of could Kansas City beat the Arizona Diamondbacks this year? There's a lot of wild cards out there, the way the playoffs are set up. And I'll tell you another thing. I've never seen a month of more rigorous collecting. You have Fanatics Fest, which was crazy last week in the city. I'm sure everybody heard about it. A little crazy. Then you had the National the week before, 2 weeks before. Collectibles are hot. So if you're sitting with some collectibles or you have questions about what you want to buy and get, this is a good time to do it. People are giving up collectibles to buy new ones. And if you're a true collector, there's some really cool stuff out there.
You mentioned that Fanatics Fest. There was a story last week. I think we might have played the audio from it of Tom Brady. I don't know if you saw that clip of him explaining his signature on cards. He said he has a signature and an autograph. They're two different things, but he showed the autograph. The B in Brady is the number 12. And then the guy he was showing that to, who's a card collector who's been doing it for his whole life, he said, I never knew that till you pointed that out right there.
Here's my message to Tom Brady. You're a great football player, but you're a horrible signer. Your autograph stinks. You're charging way too much money. He is a GOAT, but he's not an international GOAT. He's trying to charge Jordan money. Brady is a great quarterback, no doubt about it. But his autograph is horrible. His pricing is horrible. It's too much money. People buying his stuff will never, ever get that money back because somebody in Japan doesn't know who Tom is. Somebody in Asia knows who Michael is. They know who Kobe is. That's why those autographs are the way they are. And Michael Jordan still had a better autograph. It's ridiculous. It's terrible.
424-8599. Someone was just ringing in there. It looks like they hung up. If you can call right back, we'll get you right on. This from text at 605-8874. Let me see if I can find the picture that they sent along. It's a part of the dome. Let's see. Oh, hang on one second. If I can scroll through. Son of a... Oh, anyway, there it is. Hang on there. It's a part of the original dome before they did some renovations to it. And if I can... I got it. Hang on there one second there, Brandon. Boop, 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 boop. And there it is right there. And I don't know if you can tell what it is if I show you the picture of it there. It looks like
looks like a piece of the court.
I think it's a piece of the court right there.
Yeah.
from the original
That's a
part
nice
of the
piece of the
dome.
court. Yeah, I like that. It's a piece of the court. And what happened is we replaced the court while the dome was still the dome. And that was from the 2003 championship season. We cut that up. And you'll see pieces of that floating around. I love the court. I always love, where Carmelo and Jerry and Coach Boeheim, and they brought that great season. I like the court. I'm in the middle of selling the Yukon courts where the women played. I'm selling the Villanova courts where they won 2 championships. I like the court. Fordham that court was so old. I can't believe they kept playing on it. But we create all these different products with it. So that's a nice item. It's worth about $150, give or take. I would get that signed. When you see the Jerry McNamara's and Coach Boeheim, and I love that court. Sign it, then put it in a frame or that kind of thing. Yeah.
Hi there, TK. What's your first name?
It's Kenny.
Kenny, what's the item you have for Brandon Steiner from Collectible Exchange?
Well, it's an item that, thanks to you guys, Oswaldo Cabrera signed baseball at the Cooperstown Connection. When he visited 2 years ago.
Cool.
How great was Oswaldo at that appearance? He never sat down, hugged every person that came. I know a lot of people that came. He is one of my favorite players, and he's only been around for 2.5 years. It's crazy how nice he is and how much he appreciates fans. Oswaldo's an autograph I would hold on to. If you sign the ball, it's probably about $60. If you sign a photo, it's probably about $40 right now. But I just feel like something epic is going to happen with him. He's just always prepared. He plays so many positions. I love him. He's amazing.
Heart.
What's that, Kenny?
He plays with heart. He's a true ball player. He's there for. He has fun.
Yes,
we'll
he does.
That way.
I agree with that.
But he's. I mean, I've never met a ball player that gets to the ballpark at 1:30 when he's not due to be on the field until 4. He works at every position to make sure he's prepared to play any position. And when you see when he gets put in all these positions, he plays well. This is a high energy, fully committed baseball player. And as good a player as he is, he's going to be even better down the road, and he's even a better person. When you meet him in person, he just leads with love. I love him. A one-of-a-kind athlete.
Thank you for the call there, Kenny. And you had him on with us here, last year, 2 years ago, a year ago, I guess. And he had just been called up, and his enthusiasm, and you could just tell the tone of his voice and his eyes lighting up, talking about his first games where he was playing against Mike Trout and Francisco Lindor, who knew his name. To see that youthful exuberance and excitement was awesome.
Another guy we just signed was Ben Price, another really young, exciting player, first baseman, lefty. I think he's going to do well at Yankee Stadium. He's going through some rookie ups and downs, but he's a really good kid, and we're going to have some fun with him. Hopefully I get him out to Syracuse this fall. So we'll have some fun over at the mall at Destiny.
Speaking of Francisco Lindor, in the Mets game last night, he hit home run number 25, so he's now the first shortstop in Major League Baseball to have 25 home runs and 25 stolen bases in 3 different seasons. If you were at the stadium and caught home run ball 25 last night from Francisco Lindor, does that instantly become valuable?
To some degree. I mean, it's a nice ball to have, especially if he signs it. But, he's finally coming around where he's getting people's attention. And he's another one of those players, like you are a victim of the team you play on, too. The Mets have not been really all that good, and he kind of play victim because I think he's a really, really good player. I mean, he should have been an all-star, and I think when you get anything from these kind of players, you don't want to pick your head up 5 years from now and realize he's headed to the Hall of Fame. And he's probably one of those guys that could be. He's got that kind of talent, and as those Met teams get a little better, he'll get more noticed, and he'll actually be a little better. It does matter who bats ahead of you, who bats behind you. It does matter how many at-bats you get. That's what people don't realize. Like, teams that win are teams that get the 5th at-bat. Look this up, Gomez. Teams that get their better players the 5th at-bat usually win the game. And when you're not scoring a lot of runs and you're losing, you only get the 4 at bats. And that means in the later innings, you didn't get a chance to get up. And I think that people don't realize that, playing on a winning team, how much of an advantage it is.
Well, and along those lines, too, it certainly helps Aaron Judge that Juan Soto is up right before him, and he's getting an assist.
I forget who told me this, but if you have 36 at-bats or more than likely you're going to win the game. And another stat also that's interesting is that if you look at all the teams that won more one-run games, the teams that win one-run games generally win the division. So the difference between the Yankees running away with it is not the 12-2 loss. It's the 2-1 loss, the 4-3 loss. And my nervousness about the Yankees, they lose a lot of one-run games, more than we normal. And we keep thinking Mariano's coming out of the bullpen. He's not coming. 2-1 games are big. But back to the question with that collectible, you get that collectible, you try to get him to sign it, and make sure you take a picture of that ball up close because you'll need that to authenticate it.
This from text, a Buffalo Bills fan who was at St. John Fisher last week, and obviously he must have got this signed before the injury, but Matt Milano had an injury for the Bills, and he's going to be out for probably most of the season. But this person, and there's no picture, if you can send it along, that'd be great, signed a jersey. Matt Milano signed Buffalo Bills jersey. You want to know, is that worth anything?
Of course. I mean, it depends what jersey you got signed. If it's just an authentic replica, obviously it wasn't a game-used one. But, those are usually, if it's a replica, it's probably about $150, $200. If it's an authentic, it could be more, $250, $300. The authentic NFL jerseys, there's a lot of stitching, numbers, patches put on those jerseys, and also not easy to get. More than likely, you got a replica, but the real collectors are looking for those authentics, and they are costly, and a lot of times they're hard to find.
This one from text earlier in the week, and that's to do with the recent Olympic Games, and not the medals necessarily that the athletes won, but Olympic athletes come home with a knapsack full of warm-up jerseys and sneakers and gear like that. Do they sell those? It was the question from text here. They might not have won a medal, but do they sell like, hey, here's an official U.S. Olympic team warm-up jacket from the Paris Games?
Yeah.
Does that show up on the market?
There's a few Sue Bird items and Brianna Stewart stuff on our site that are from those kinds of situations. Kleinman and April Ross from the beach volleyball players gave us a bunch of their stuff to sell. Some of the athletes, it's a lot of stuff. So I don't think they sell it all, but, I think a lot of athletes, they're sitting with between the practices and they do get a lot of stuff, and they'll sell some of it because what are they going to do with it? You know what I mean? So it's a good idea to sell it, especially with those athletes. If you can get their sneakers, especially some of the runners, the track and field, the swimmers. We couldn't get anything from the swimmers. We tried. This is just really tough, but all that stuff's pretty collectible. But the problem is it kind of goes up and down. That's the problem with collecting Olympics. But the pins are popular. How about the Little League pins have all of a sudden taken off? I've been watching some Little League baseball, and I've never really seen that kind of, but a lot of talk about Little League pins and the trading of those. I was with Jose Trevino last week, and he was talking about, he collects them. So it was just funny how it's just amazing. Every time I pick my head up, there's something else getting collected, which is good for me. Good for me. Yeah, I like it.
It's not sports related, but last week it was a movie piece, and this is just more a story of how people come across things. But Indiana Jones, the fedora that he wore in Indiana Jones 2 was sold at an auction for $675,000, whatever it was. It was an astronomical amount of money, but it was authenticated because it came from his stunt double, who they both had the exact same fedora. They both were obviously in the movie, and he could authenticate it. But that's how that guy happened to come across an actual Indiana Jones fedora.
What's sad about the movie collectibles, and I'm a big fan of them, and they do go for a lot of money, is that most of the collectibles, the actors don't get. Most of their outfits they don't get. They're sitting in a warehouse that a lot of these movie production houses own and are used for future films and used for other things. So sometimes you'll see some stuff will sell from a set, but most of the time it's sitting in a warehouse, and we've never been able to crack it. But some of the big time actors, they'll take their stuff. You read about it, that they took the blazer, they took the hat, they took, they just, and I'm not sure what they're doing with it, but most of your big time actors are sitting with a decent amount of collectibles. I heard Bruce Springsteen had 300 guitars in what I think is going to be a potential museum.
Wow.
300 guitars, and he still uses one of the guitars almost all the time for almost every concert.
So, Brandon, what's the event that you're attending this weekend there in Telluride?
I'm going to a wedding last week. It was a no-show. I mean, thank you for all the cards and all the emails, wondering where I was.
Your health and everything good.
It's amazing. I went to this incredible health ranch in Hudson Valley called the Malibu Ranch. Hike 10 miles a day, 1,400 calories a day, vegan.
Wow.
And the problem with that was I'm not vegan and I don't hike. So it was very, 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 very troublesome. I mean, very challenging. I mean, what in God's name was I thinking? I don't know. But, I always tell people you got to lead with curiosity. So I figured I would try it. I'm in Telluride for a wedding. And I'll be here for a few days. And then, I'm on a very serious travel schedule the next 3 months. So I'll be calling in from all kinds of locations, and very excited to do so. I'm excited. One more note. Hey, get behind Syracuse football. Get to the stadium. Get up and get there. Fill that place up.
Absolutely.
Because if you want to win and you want to continue winning, a big part of it is filling it up and showing that it's got fan support. Players come for many reasons, but one of them is they come because, they want to play in front of a packed house. So, get up and make plans, get those tickets. I'm not paid by Syracuse University to say this, but I'm a big Syracuse fan, and I think it's important we fill that dome. And if you're out there and you haven't picked up your tickets, go out and get them. We've got a great coach and what appears to me to be a very, very, very good team. And I'm looking forward to Syracuse football this year.
Brandon, well said. In fact, next week we begin our conversations with Coach Fran Brown, and I know you're a big fan of First of Whatever. And next week, on a week from Saturday, the first Coach Fran Brown coached SU football game. So come be a part of a first.
You better ask him some tough questions, though, Gomez.
Well,
you better bring your A game here. You got to put this guy on the seat. You got to put him on the hot seat because he has been just really creating a stir as he should, and I think he's a really talented coach, by the way. So I have high expectations, and so does he. But I think I'd love to hear now where he really thinks he's at with his team, and where he thinks he's going to be come the end of December.
We're looking forward to it. Brandon, enjoy the wedding, safe travels, and we'll check in again next Thursday.
Have a great weekend. Thanks.